Alan, congratulations on you. When you spoke post-fight about the loss to Albert Tumenov and what that did to you, before we get into the fight, talk to us a little bit about the process that you went to after that loss, because that was the second time in your career you've been TKO'd. What did it do to your confidence, and how difficult was it for you to deal with?
It was obviously a tough pill to swallow at the time. After that, though, it was. I stated before that somewhat to that loss, some of it was credited towards me being burnt out. I had a lot of stuff going on. I was fighting back to back, and I just wanted to kind of be done with the fight and take care of everything else that I wanted to do leading after the fight. So once I was done, I did those things. I enjoyed life. I enjoyed my family, my son's birthday. I traveled and did those things, and I got that out of my system. Sat down with my team. We figured out a new plan, and we wanted to just mentally take a break. And we did that. 6 months off was more than enough. I didn't want to fight a day later than this. I was trying to fight early March. When I got March 19th over here, I took it right away. So it was just enough amount of time for me to assess everything, change my camp up, and get mentally strong again. But yeah, it was tough to swallow coming off of a loss like that. But I knew that I wouldn't be one of those guys that took a loss and never came back the same. I wouldn't let that happen.
How do you feel now getting this dominant win over Brendan O'Reilly? Do you feel like you're back on track, not only as far as your career and in the UFC, but just mentally as well?
Absolutely, that was the goal coming in, was to, it's funny. Like I'm sitting here after the fight trying to assess not so much my performance but my emotions right now. Normally I'm almost crying, or I'm so happy I can't sleep for 2 days after the fight. But I feel almost numb right now, and I was just on the walk here. I was trying to assess why that is, and I think what it is I expected this to happen. I didn't. It's not a surprise. If you win the lottery, you're like, holy shit, I won the lottery. But if you worked your ass off every day and expected to make this amount of money, and you wrote it down on your goal sheet and said, this is what I'm going to do, this is how much money I'm going to earn, then it's not so much of a shock. And that's how I took my camp, this camp. I knew I didn't cut any corners in this camp. I worked my ass off. I tweaked everything mentally. I tweaked everything training-wise for this. And we put together a great strategy. And every day we've told ourselves, we're not only going to win this fight, we're going to take them out in the first round. We're going to put on a performance. And I always tell myself, I want to do something amazing. I want to look for that bonus. I want to get right back on track. So I felt that we accomplished our goal. But in a way, it's like that was my goal for the last 6 months that I told myself. So I'm kind of in a state of, okay, I did what I said what I was going to do. I'm not in shock.
It sounds like you came in with a lot of confidence and felt very good about putting Badger O'Reilly away. But
Yeah.
in a sense, a lot of people expected you to get this when you were the very, very heavy favorite. Does that get in your head a little bit at all, knowing that people expect you to finish him pretty quickly?
Yeah, I think it can. I usually try. What I do is I just try not to. I try to stay off of social media. I know when I look on Twitter and I see the favorites and the underdogs and all that stuff, you can kind of think about it. When people are putting you as underdog, it kind of gets you, and then vice versa. As you said, if I looked on there and I saw I was a heavy favorite, I would be putting a lot of pressure on myself that was unneeded. It was out of my hands, out of my control. There's no reason and stress about that. So I really didn't look at it. I glanced at it a couple times and I saw that I was the favorite in this fight. But in my head, I knew I was already the favorite. I knew that I belong in the top 15. I just had one stumble in the road, and I just needed this fight to come back and get my momentum right back where it was.
You said that in training camp and before that you kind of got back to the basics. You went back to the striking and what really got you here. Is it that laser sharp focus on that you really think got you the performance that you did tonight?
I think so. I think so. I said it was small adjustments here and there, but as you stated, my striking is what got me here. And when my striking is crisp, when I feel athletic and sharp, that's the most confident that I ever am. I wasn't as confident in my last fight because I was doing striking twice a day, wrestling twice a day, jiu-jitsu twice a week. So my everything was good, everything was solid, but my striking wasn't as polished, and that's when I'm the most confident. So we just made that adjustment, moved some things around. My striking this camp was on point, man. I mean, just I think I landed a nice body kick with my left leg in the fight, and that's one that every time we hit pads this week in training, the coaches were like blown away. They were like, dude, if you hit him with that body kick, he's gonna back up. I promise you, he's gonna back up. It's too much power, and it gave me a sense of confidence. It's like, man, I know that I have a weapon right here. That if I land it, even if it lands on the arm or the body, he's gonna back up. And it gave me the confidence to throw it in a fight, put him on the cage, and I was able to finish him after that.
Speaking of after the fight, some people are saying that you're kind of looking at your feet after the fight. Everything good on the feet? Nothing injured or something?
Wow. There's some very observant people out there. Yeah, I don't know. I might have dislocated my toe or something, so I got to get it checked out. My pinky was kind of hanging a little funny right there, but yeah, nothing serious.
If it is nothing serious, you mentioned you wanted to come back around UFC 200. You mentioned you didn't really have many people in your mind that you'd like to fight next, but now you've had a little bit of time to relax. You've had 5 minutes, and we expect a lot from you, Alan. So,
yeah, obviously.
you wanted someone in the top 15. Any names that pop into your mind that you'd like for the landmark event?
Honestly, I'm not avoiding the question, but as I said, I put so much focus on getting this win and putting on the performance that this entire camp was a day-to-day thing, and it was execute one thing at a time, and then from there let everything trickle off. Because not only inside of the cage we have, am I excited to see what happens, but my manager and me have been working on a lot of stuff outside of the cage that I just tried to block out the exciting things that with this win could spawn a lot of new other things for me outside of, lucratively outside of my career. So yeah, honestly, I could name anybody in the top 15, but it wouldn't be truthful. I haven't really thought about it. I knew that get this victory, get the performance that I want, and then let's talk to Joe Silva and see where he has me at right now. But I do want to fight in maybe 3 to 4 months, and I do want somebody close to the top 15 ranking.
Very curious what some of those lucrative things may be. Now that the fight is over, you did get that win. Does that open the door to those possibilities? And what are they? Are you going to be doing acting, or do you do modeling? You're going to become a singer or something like that?
Yeah, far from that, man. I wish I could be. I don't want to take the attention away from the thing that got me here, and that's fighting, and that's what's my passion. But yeah, we've been able to with Soul Artist Management, a modeling agency that's signed me in New York. We've got a couple magazines, Vogue. I just did a feature in Vogue that's coming out next week, and at Large Magazine, and some other Equinox and Jim, a lot of things I can't even remember, but a lot of really cool stuff. And that it's like I do these things, and then I just have to take them and put them out of my memory, out of sight, out of mind, until I get the job done. And then once the job's done, which I did here tonight, then I can go and enjoy those type of things. So that's really what I'm looking forward to. I know I put in the training and the hard work in the gym, and then I did these other things outside of the cage, which I mentioned, and I just want to go and let those things start popping up and ride the momentum.